Hi, I'm Richard Margolin, CEO and founder of RoboKind. In this professional learning session, we will focus on helping you get started with your RoboKind Phonics materials. The purpose of this professional learning support session is to help you explore the new materials in your RoboKind Level 1 Phonics Kit. Various setup tips will be included as well. Please have your RoboKind Phonics materials ready throughout the session so we can go through everything together. All of our RoboKind curricula uses the same setup procedures for our robots, virtual avatars, RoboKind Central, and the RoboKind Companion app. We have professional learning sessions to help you with your setup. In addition, please feel free to connect with your partnership success manager or professional learning specialist with any questions. Let's start by getting an overview of everything that comes in your kit. There are 18 different learning centers provided in the physical kit. The kit is intended to support learning and be used by up to 5 students at the same time, so there are 5 sets of some of the items. We will do a quick overview, then dive into the specific items and show you some of the ways they can be used throughout the RoboKind Phonics Level 1 program. Many of these items will be used in combination for different activities throughout the curriculum. There are 5 main types of materials that you will find in your RoboKind Phonics kit. RoboKind Phonics uses an IVACT approach, which stands for Interactive, Visual, Auditory, Kinesthetic, and Tactile materials to support student learning, and it enables student choice and agency in the activities they choose throughout the program to reinforce their learning. Now let's jump into the specific materials. You will get to see some real-world examples of these materials in use in the classroom, and you will see several of the materials being used with other items throughout this session. Now, let's jump into the specific materials. You will get to see some real-world examples of these materials in use in the classroom, and you will see several of the materials being used with other items throughout this session.
Alrighty, let's look. Red letters are
Vowels.
blue letters are
Consonant.
vowels are
A, E, I, O, U. Sometimes it's Y. Sometimes it's Y.
it is sometimes is Y. Okay, are we ready?
Foam alphabet. The magnetic foam alphabet set comes in a plastic box with dividers for each letter. Each set includes 5 sets of lowercase letters, 2 sets of uppercase letters, as well as numbers and punctuation. Additionally, the set includes 3 dry erase markers, black, blue, and red in color, a dry erase marker, and a small magnetic whiteboard. Find the foam letters before you start a lesson. Then, you or your student can set up the letters in the shape of an alphabet arch, which you can see in the images and video. In addition, we have an interactive letter board that students can move within the student slides as well. You have the choice of using the hands-on foam letters or digital version. With the alphabet arch in place, you can ask your student to identify and pick specific letters, identify and differentiate consonants and vowels, make the appropriate sound for a letter that you or they have chosen, and as you progress through the curriculum, also identify or make the correct sounds of letter combinations. Later, we will also see other uses for this set in combination with other materials, like making rubbings of words and letters with crayons and more.
You ready to write?
Yeah.
Okay, first word, the.
LCD writing tablets. In your kit, you will find 5 12-inch LCD writing tablets. These have a small stylus included with them, which can be removed by pulling them from the tablet. To erase the tablet, you will press the button on the tablet. This will reset the entire tablet. If this button is not working, there is a small on-off switch on the back of the tablet, and it may be in the off position. You or your students can write on these tablets with the included stylus, but they also respond to pressure, including fingers and pretty much anything else. Just don't use anything that will mark or scratch the screen. As the facilitator for the lesson, you can use the LCD writing tablet to model concepts to the student, or you can have the student use their own LCD writing tablet throughout the lesson or when prompted at different times during the lesson. Students can also use these tablets to practice writing letters, whole words, and to practice spelling. Some students find these tablets lower pressure than using paper when first learning because it is easy to reset the screen. Flashcards. There are a total of 466 flashcards in the RoboKind Phonics Level 1 set. They are color-coded by unit on both the back and front of the cards. On the front of the card, the lesson number that the card is used with is listed, and you will find the unit number is on the back. These flashcards are double laminated for durability and are meant to be handled, have Play-Doh, wax sticks, and more used on them. It is also safe to use dry erase markers on them. Just make sure to wipe it off when you are done. There are 6 cards for each lesson, and prior to the start of a lesson, you will want to pull the cards for that lesson. Additionally, there is the sound deck, which shows mouth positions for different spoken sounds or phonemes, and example images of words that use those associated sounds. Within the app, there is also the sound wall, which shows these images and has audio and video examples to help with sound and mouth positions. Additionally, you will find a set of cards showing the learning centers. These can be laid out or even hung up in an area where a student will be using the program to make it easy for them to choose the activities they want to do during their lesson. Note that different lessons will have different sets of choices. At the bottom right corner of the Learning Center cards are also icons noting if a center is visual, auditory, kinesthetic, or tactile. As you use the program, you may notice that some students prefer one category of Learning Center activities over others. It is okay if a student wants to use the same items repeatedly, so long as they remain engaged and are making progress. Reference sheets. We have included several reference sheets for our sound wall, vowel valley, syllable types, and a handwriting formation guide. These handouts are also heavy-duty laminated, and you will find 5 sets of each, so that you and your students can have their own when needed. The consonant sound wall is a condensed visual pronunciation guide for making consonant sounds. The vowel valley is a pronunciation guide for making vowel sounds. The syllable types guide shows and explains the different types of syllables to help students start building from letter to word recognition. It can be helpful to use consonant hand motions like a door open or closed for the open and closed syllables. The letter writing guide is there to help with learning to write letters, and the letters on this sheet have stroke indicators to help with learning to write a letter. This sheet can be used with a dry erase marker if it is helpful for your student to begin with tracing the letters. It can also be used with the Play-Doh, wax yarn sticks, and other elements of the kit as your student is learning to read and write. In addition to these handouts, there are additional resources and lesson plans available through RoboKind Central, located at central.robokind.com. You will use the same login as you do for the RoboKind Companion app. One of my favorite resources are printable robot icons, which can be used with a student's visual schedule. There are options available for each of the RoboKind characters. Additionally, there are printable versions of the Learning Center flashcards in case you want to hang those somewhere but still have the original cards in your deck. You can also find printable lesson plans, coloring sheets, and additional copies of the handouts we have just reviewed.
Woohoo! Nice job.
You worked hard. hard. You worked hard.
You did work hard. Hey,
3, 4, 5 gumballs.
you did. You got 5 gumballs. You did great.
It was great. You heard one. You're winners.
You are a winner. You did so good. Hey, are you finished?
Yeah.
Reward jars. There are 5 reward jars and reward tokens in each kit. Each set of tokens comes in its own bag, and there are 18 tokens in total for each set. Throughout the lessons, students will be awarded tokens to celebrate their learning and progress. By using physical rewards, students get the joy of placing their reward tokens into the jar and seeing a growing representation of their progress as the jars fill up with tokens. When you are opening the jars for the first time, you may need to attach the string. I recommend a simple but large knot on each end to make sure that the jar and string do not come apart. Also, the jar may have a protective film over the front. You can remove this by simply peeling off the protective film. Crayons. For this activity, you will need your crayons, foam letters, and the flashcards for the current lesson. There are a set of 6 confetti crayons in each learning center. If you are opening your kit for the first time, you will find these crayons new in their own box. After you've opened them, you may want to store them in the included pencil bag, where you will also find your invisible ink pens and wax yarn sticks. The crayons may be used for writing practice and a number of other activities. One example is to use them with the foam letter sets to make rubbings. This is a visual activity.
Go.
Get.
Invisible ink. For this activity, you will need your invisible ink markers, a piece of paper, and the flashcards for the current lesson. The invisible ink markers are essentially highlighters without color. They write invisibly and have a UV LED on the marker's cap, which will make your students' writing visible and it will glow. To activate this LED, just press the button on the marker's cap. If it's the first time you're using it, you may need to pull the battery tab from the top of the marker. Throughout the RoboKind Phonics program, there are many different writing exercises, so these are one of the choices for those kinds of activities, along with the LCD tablets and other items. This is a visual activity. Wax yarn sticks. For this activity, you will need the wax yarn sticks and the flashcards for the current lesson. You may have seen these before under a variety of brand names, but whatever you call them, they are fun to make things with and to spell with them. Students can practice the letters and words by bending and forming the letters with the wax yarn on top of the flashcards, the handwriting formation guide handout, or any surface. Please note that these wax sticks can leave a little wax residue on the cards or handouts, which is not a big deal, but you may want to wipe them down every once in a while. This is a visual activity. Whisperphone. For the Whisperphone Center, students will need the Whisperphone from your kit and the flashcards for the current lesson. This is the PVC pipe with some cloth on the handle and some bends at the end. I want to share that all of these were made by an incredible teacher in Carrollton, Texas, and we were excited to find such an incredible partner for these. A Whisperphone is a small auditory feedback device that is shaped like a toy phone. Children speak softly into one end and can listen to the clarity and rhythm through the other. This instant feedback allows them to make immediate adjustments. Whisperphones are used to help children practice reading skills and enhance reading comprehension and fluency. For this activity, your student will whisper the name of the picture, letter, or word on the card while holding the Whisperphone up to their ear. This will let them better hear and pay attention to how they are saying the words and letter sounds. This is an auditory activity.
Now you get a chance to practice the words.
Okay, what do you pick? Buttons?
Buttons.
All right, here we go. Ready for your first word?
Yeah.
Let's do this one, ready?
Buzz. 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 Ah!
Okay, next word. What is it? What's your next word?
Fuzz.
Fuss.
Buzz. Buzz.
Sound buttons. For this activity, you will need your sound buttons and the flashcards for the current lesson. There are 6 buttons included in your kit, and they are all different colors. We have included a set of batteries in the kit as well, so when you are using them for the first time, you will need to put the batteries in each button. These buttons are recordable. For the Sound Button Learning Center, you or your student will need to use the record button on the bottom of each larger button. Hold down this button and you will hear one beep when it starts recording. Hold the record button until you are finished recording. The microphone is also on the bottom near the record button, so you will make a clearer sounding recording if the microphone is facing the speaker while recording. Once you are recording, your student can speak the word into the button. When you are done, release the button and you will hear 2 beeps. Now when the big button is pressed, it should play the recording. Some students may need help with this. Remember, you can record as many times as you want or need to with the buttons, so it is okay to record multiple times if needed. The buttons are all different colors to help students remember which word they recorded on which button. In some cases, it may be helpful to use dry erase marker on the button surface. Just remember to wipe them off so that you don't end up with marker all over your hands later. This is an auditory activity which enables students to hear themselves as they learn to make appropriate sounds and pronounce words. You can also use the buttons with the word list to play a memory game. Have the student record a list of words onto all 6 buttons and ask them to find the button and press with a specific word from the list. You can also remove the buttons as they get each one correct, which creates a natural transition to the next activity, part of the lesson, or away from the learning session. We can see a short video of the student using buttons now. This is an auditory activity. Beanbag. For this learning center, you will need the beanbag from your kit and the flashcards for your current lesson. You will place the flashcards on the floor or desk, and the facilitator can name different letters, pictures, and words for the student to match by tossing the beanbag onto the card. Another option involves having the students toss the beanbag first, then name the letter, picture, or word that the beanbag landed on. This is a kinesthetic activity.
Is tall. Tall. Woo, good job.
Bounce It Ball. You will need the foam ball from your kit and the flashcards for your current lesson. You will place the flashcards on the floor or desk, and the facilitator can name different letters, pictures, and words for the students to match by bouncing the ball onto the card. Another option involves having the student bounce the ball, then name the letter, picture, or word which was hit. Some students strongly prefer the ball or beanbag, even though the activity is very similar. This is a kinesthetic activity. Gel pack. You will need the gel pack and the flashcards from your current lesson. Have the students place the gel pack on top of the flashcard, then prompt the student to trace over it with their finger, pressing the gel out of the way as shown in the following video. You can reset the gel pack by smoothing the gel back into a uniform layer. This is a tactile activity. Sand writing. For the Sand Writing Center, you will need the sand writing box from your kit and the flashcards for the current lesson. To set up the kit, you can remove the 2 layers of cover, then empty the bag of blue sand into the sand reservoir. The 2 covers have writing guides for both upper and lower case letters on them and can be inserted upright into the slot. You can also lean and display a flashcard against one of the covers, using it like an easel. Your students will write letters or words for the lesson into the sand to match the flashcards. As a writing instrument or stylus, your student can use their finger, a pen, or marker with the lid on it, or any other stylus-like implement. When putting the sand away, I recommend either a piece of paper, which can be bent and rolled to be used like a funnel, or if you happen to have one, a funnel, or you can just place a cover over the sand in the board and place it back in the bag. Play-Doh. For this activity, you will need one or more containers of Play-Doh and the flashcards for the current lesson. Prompt your student to roll out the Play-Doh into a worm. Then have your student form the letters or words on top of the flashcard or on a flat surface while looking at the card. As they progress and are more confident, you can also transition to reading a word or letter or showing them a picture without revealing the word to them, and then asking them to make the word or letter without the visual cues. This is a tactile activity. Stamps. You will need the alphabet stamp pack from your kit, flashcards for the current lesson, and a sheet of paper. Have the student locate the different letters to stamp, the different letters and words from the flashcards, onto the paper. This is a tactile activity. Whiteboard dice. For this center, you will need the foam whiteboard dice, some dry erase markers, an eraser, and 3 dry erase markers are included in your foam alphabet set, and you will need the flashcards for the current lesson. You or your student will write the words or letters from the flashcard word list on each side of the cube. Then, have the student roll the dice and read aloud the word or say the letter that is rolled. This is a tactile activity. Poppet Alphabet. You will need the Poppet from your kit and the flashcards for the current lesson. Students can practice spelling the different words by pressing down the different letters on the Poppet. You can also have your students find and match letters to practice their sight recognition of letters. This is a tactile activity. Throughout this session, we have explored the different materials included in the RoboKind Phonics Level 1 Learning Center kit, and some of the activities and uses for these materials with your students. We are here to support you as you get started with RoboKind Phonics. This program has helped students increase reading scores and reading enjoyment levels. We are looking forward to hearing your success stories, and if you have any ideas on other activities that can be done with your RoboKind Phonics kit, please share these ideas with us as well, so that we can help other teachers and students get the most out of their RoboKind Phonics program. Additional resources like lesson plans, additional printables, and more can be found at central.robokind.com. Please connect with us if you have any questions and follow us on the various social medias to see other success stories and get more tips and ideas for using your program. Thank you. We value your partnership. Thank you for joining me for this professional learning session.